Dear comrades and friends, today we are going to discuss about fixed medical allowance or FMA in short. I am taking up this FMA today because of 2-3 important reasons. One is that there is a general feeling that the quantum of FMA being paid today, 1000 rupees per mensum, is too short to meet the medical expenditure. Therefore, it should be at least doubled and 2000 rupees should be paid as FMA per month. This is one of the prime demands of the pensioners. Secondly, the CGHS is expanding to new areas today. And also, the PNT pensioners who were not allowed to join CGHS, if they retire in non-CGHS areas, that order has been changed after the 7th Pay Commission because of a clear-cut recommendation by 7th CPC, hastened by the Kerala High Court proceedings. The central government has issued an OM that all the PNT pensioners can now join CGHS irrespective of the area in which they are residing. These are the reasons. Naturally, the FMA attains importance and we want to know who is eligible and who is not eligible, what is FMA and what are the grounds under which the FMA is being paid to us. These are some of the very important items that we are going to discuss today. Firstly, we have to understand, now the pensioners and family pensioners are given FMA. But originally, this was not the case. The central government employees, they were given the medical allowance first. If they are residing in non-CGHS areas, they were given 25 rupees medical allowance because they could not reach out any AMA in the nearby areas. If that was the case, they were granted 25 rupees per month allowance, medical allowance to central government employees. This order was issued by the government on 17/7/1990. From 1990 July to 99 January, they were getting this 25 rupees. After 99, this 25 rupees was enhanced to 100 rupees per month, and this 100 rupees was being paid till 2015, when in June 2015 another OM was issued cancelling the very medical allowance to employees itself, and totally both the OMs which granted the medical allowance to central government employees, namely 17/7/90 and 18/1/99, both these OMs were cancelled in June 2015 OM, and all the employees living even under non-CGHS areas, they are brought under CSMA rules 1944 and medical allowance was completely stopped. This is the background of FMA. But as far as the pensioners are concerned, only the 5th Central Pay Commission took into consideration that pensioners living in non-CGHS areas, they require this medical allowance. With this motive, the 5th Central Pay Commission had recommended 100 rupees should be paid to all pensioners and family pensioners residing in non-CGHS areas as fixed medical allowance. The government also accepted the demand, and an order, OM, was issued to make the FMA 100 rupees eligible to pensioners and family pensioners living in non-CGHS areas from 1/12/1997. This OM was issued on 19/12/1997. After that order, so many changes had taken place. The fixed medical allowance was enhanced by the government. After the 6th CPC, the date of effect was 1/9/2008. The OM was dated 26/5/2010 and it was enhanced to 300 rupees, and from 300 it was enhanced to 500 rupees through the OM dated 19/11/2014 with the date of effect same date 19/11/2014. This was done by the government, and when the 7th Pay Commission did not conclude its proceedings, the central government once again increased the FMA from 500 to the present 1000 through the OM dated 19/7/2017, giving the date of effect as 1st July 2017. This is the general background where the FMA is being paid to the pensioners. That is the background. And now we have to find out whether the pensioners, family pensioners coming under NPS, National Pension System, or new pension system, whether they are eligible for this FMA. Originally they were not brought under the eligibility, but later they have made the amendment to the relevant rules, and temporarily they have started paying FMA to NPS pensioners and family pensioners who were discharged on disability, permanent disability, they were given permanent disability pension, or they were died while in service, and after the death the family was given the family pension. So their case was considered by the government, and they have taken into consideration that the NPS employees living under CGHS areas are allowed to join CGHS. The NPS employees who are working in non-CGHS areas are permitted to reimburse the medical expenditure under CSMA rules 1944. Therefore, it was decided after the death of the NPS pensioner, or if a permanent disability had taken place, in that case they should be given fixed medical allowance also. With this idea, a new order was released by the government, and according to that particular order, the NPS pensioners, family pensioners also are eligible to FMA. Now, CGHS areas, whether FMA is eligible or not, this is one of the doubts that is coming to our mind. If I am residing in CGHS area, whether I am eligible for FMA or not, normally we should understand that wherever an area has become CGHS, that in that area no FMA is allowed. The pensioners living in CGHS areas or the areas subsequently brought under CGHS coverage, their FMA will be automatically stopped. They will be compulsorily joined in the CGHS system. Only under CGHS they have to remain for both inpatient and outpatient treatment, and the system of FMA will be completely stopped if an area has brought under CGHS. This is the rule. And whether there are some pensioners who are drawing two family pension. Some families are drawing two family pension. One is the military pension, other is the civil pension. So what is the condition? Whether FMA is allowed? Yes, there is a clear order. The pension ministry has stated very clearly that two family pension drawing family pensioners are eligible to draw FMA 1000 rupees, provided under both the system of the pension they should not take medical treatment from any hospitals of the concerned ministry or department. If they don't take any medical treatment from any of the two systems, then yes, they are eligible to draw FMA every month. That is the system under which two family pension drawing family pensioners are allowed FMA. Similarly, there are cases, very rare cases, that the employees marry while the first wife is alive or before the divorce proceedings are completed. Of course, Hindu Marriage Act doesn't allow second marriage while the first wife is alive or before the divorce proceedings are completed. But this particular system is not applicable to some tribes and also to some religions. This is not applicable. They are permitted to marry second wife even when the first wife is alive. But anyway, if that particular employee dies, who will get the family pension? The two widows will equally share the family pension. There are rules for favoring payment of pension at 50% rate to both the widows of the family. And similarly, the FMA also has to be paid at 50% of the rate to both the family pensioners if both the widows are getting pension. So this provision has been made eligible by the government. Accordingly, FMA has become eligible to family to two widows also. That is one thing. Another thing, whether FMA is eligible, what is the date from which the FMA is eligible to family pensioner? The pensioner dies. After that, the family pensioner, namely the spouse, applies. The application takes some time. It is being processed and it is approved after 4 months, for example. Whether the FMA to be paid to the family pensioner should commence from the date of death or from the date of application or from the date of the particular sanction given for family pension by the department. This question has arisen and ultimately it was disposed of that the date of eligibility for FMA starts immediately after the death of the pensioner. There may be some delay in sanctioning of family pension, but the FMA shall be paid from the date of eligibility, not from the date of actual sanction of the order. This is the rule that says about FMA eligibility to family pensioners. Then there is a grant of FMA in non-covered areas of CGHS city. There are some areas which are not covered under CGHS, even though the city is covered by CGHS. Even in Chennai city, there are areas which are not covered by CGHS, but Chennai city is a CGHS city. Whether FMA is allowed to pensioners living in those areas which are not covered by CGHS, yes, they are eligible. They can draw the FMA unless the area is covered by CGHS, they are eligible to draw FMA. And the non-CGHS area pensioners have got another option also, that they can join the CGHS for inpatient treatment only and draw the FMA 1000 rupees also in lieu of outpatient treatment. Those who draw FMA cannot come to CGHS wellness centers for outpatient treatment. They have to manage with the very same money that is paid to them as FMA. But they can come to CGHS for any inpatient treatment. That facility is available for the pensioners living in non-CGHS areas only, and the pensioners under CGHS area do not have that option. They have to necessarily join the CGHS for both inpatient and outpatient treatment. This is the rule. And coming, another important question is there. Supposing a pensioner comes and joins the CGHS, he is from a non-CGHS area. After joining the CGHS for both inpatient and outpatient treatment, subsequently after some months or an year, he wants to get out of the CGHS and wants to draw the FMA again because of certain personal reasons. Whether it is allowed? Yes, it is allowed. The non-CGHS pensioners who has joined the CGHS can go out of the CGHS system after meeting the additional director and giving the proper pro forma for that and all that. But there are conditions that the money, whatever money they have deposited to join the CGHS will never be refunded to them. And secondly, they cannot again opt to join CGHS. Under these conditions, they are given this FMA again and allowed to go out of the CGHS. But supposing that area, that particular non-CGHS area, subsequently becomes CGHS covered, then what will be the position? Once an area becomes an area of CGHS, all the pensioners living under that area are compulsorily brought under CGHS. There is no change to that particular rule. This we have to keep in mind. Then there is a question in Tamil Nadu. The spouse is working in state government service or spouse is working in some public sector. The husband is retired pensioner of the central government in the postal department. Whether he is eligible for FMA if he is residing in non-CGHS area, that is the question. There is a clear ruling that originally said that a self-declaration from the pensioner is must for giving the FMA. That pensioner will give a self-declaration that he is living in a non-CGHS area and he is not taking any medical treatment through his spouse who is working in such and such department. That declaration is enough and they should be given the FMA. But unfortunately, the authorities insist that a certificate from the department in which the spouse is working should be produced in order to pay the FMA. There is no such rule. Anywhere it is not mentioned that the spouse department should give a certificate to the pensioner that he is not taking treatment. Such a provision is not existing in any rules. The rules are very clear that from a self-declaration taken from the pensioner, FMA should be given to him. This is the rule, but unfortunately, there are some areas like Tamil Nadu where there is still a problem with this particular rule, and our organization is taking it up, and definitely we are hopeful that we will be able to win. And finally, coming to certain other questions, namely, there is a question lingering in the minds of all pensioners, whether this 1,000 rupees FMA will be enhanced to 2,000 as we are demanding. Yes, it will gain momentum provided all the pensioners organization start highlighting the demand and projecting the demand with force, and with the help of the staff side JCM, we have to push through this demand, and ultimately we will win the demand, because 1,000 rupees is too insufficient and we will win 2,000 rupees FMA, that is for sure, and we have to move in that direction. Thank you, comrades.